Ladies and gentlemen, let's be honest, brutally honest. If you're not black in South Africa today and you're trying to find a job, it's tough. Like potholes in your dreams, tough. Like, we'll call you if anything comes up, tough. Like, you're overqualified and still not good enough, tough. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not here to sugarcoat history. Yes, apartheid messed up this country up beyond measure. Yes, black South Africans were locked out of opportunity. Yes, redressing that injustice is necessary. But here's my problem. We've moved from uplifting the disadvantaged to exclude everyone else just to look fair. And that is not injustice, that is just a new type of injustice. Imagine this. Two South African kids walk into the same job interview. One is black with one or two distinctions, grew up in a struggling township, but he had grit, he got out, and had a degree. The other is Indian or colored, who worked just as hard, maybe had 8 distinctions, but didn't check the right equity box. Who gets the job? Most likely the one that ticks the racial requirement, not necessarily the most qualified, as if colored and Indian people weren't suffering in apartheid either. That is a form of punishment disguised as progress. People always say, but it's about correcting historical injustices, Summer. Cool. But is lowering the standard to meet a quota really the best way to do that? When we force companies to hire people based only on the color of their skin, we create an environment where excellence is compromised, resentment brews, and merit takes a backseat. Listen, this is not a black versus brown versus white thing. This is a truth versus delusion conversation. And I know a lot of you are too scared to say it out loud because you don't want to be labeled a racist or insensitive like me. But if your future, your job, your livelihood depends on your skin color first, we are not building a better South Africa. We are just painting the old system that made us bleed with a new brush. And the black South Africans watching this, hear me out. You deserve opportunities. You deserve success. Black South African to black South African, you deserve equity. You don't deserve lowered standards just because the government thinks that's how you'll succeed. They think they are helping you by giving you an advantage. But what they're really saying is, we don't believe you can compete unless we tilt the game for you. Basically, they're saying you're less than. That is not empowerment. That is insulting. You don't need to step on someone else to rise, do you? You don't need to be handed something to be worthy of it, do you? You're powerful without needing to be protected by a flawed system, right? Let's look at the long-term consequences. When we create this dynamic, young colored and Indian kids start to feel like they don't belong. They feel like foreigners in their own land. And soon, they just stop trying. They give up. They leave the country if they can. Brain drain. And guess who suffers? The mother does. South Africa. The mother of those children. Because the one thing we cannot afford to lose is talent. We already have lost enough. We already have corruption, potholes, inflation, Eskom, and water issues. Now you want us to kill meritocracy too? Listen to me and listen carefully. We are not asking for handouts. We are asking for fairness. We are asking for a level playing field. We are asking that merit matters again. That we stop defining people by what they look like and start judging them by what they can offer. The future of this country doesn't need more boxes ticked. It needs people who can get the job done. And to those in HR departments and leadership roles, be honest with yourself. Are you picking candidates to satisfy BEE regulations? Or are you picking the person who will grow your company, your country, and most importantly, your people? Because if all you care about is racial quotas, don't cry when the economy crashes under the weight of incompetence. Don't act shocked when your best talent leaves. Don't pretend it's someone else's fault, like you always have anyway. You built that house on sand. Don't be surprised when the storm hits. And isn't it funny how, like the Pied Piper, your government stood at the edge of the village, blew the sweetest, most hypnotic tune into the ears of desperate poor citizens, and said, "Follow us, we'll fix it." But fix it how? By stepping on the toes of young South Africans who never created apartheid, who were born way after the system collapsed, who had nothing to do with the evils that built that era. Now somehow they're the ones who have to pay. You think if you crush the dreams of an Indian girl with 8 distinctions, a colored boy who worked 2 jobs while studying, or a white Asian kid trying to make his own way in life, that somehow you'll finally have your justice? That's not justice, my friend. That's revenge repackaged in an ANC t-shirt. But oh, they made it sound so sweet, didn't they? Just follow the tune. Let us handle the policies. Let us decide who gets in, who gets hired, who gets funded, who gets empowered. BEE, employment equity, expropriation without compensation, and you danced blindly. Like the dancing Plato of the Middle Ages, the only way to fix what had been broken, you were made to believe, was by stepping on others. But here's the truth. They didn't balance the scale. They just tilted it the other way. They flipped the coin, and that is not how you build a fair society. That is how you create new resentment. You cannot climb up by pulling everyone else down. You were told for years that young black South Africans need a leg up. And maybe you did. But instead of investing in education, real training, resources, infrastructure, they said, "Don't worry, we'll just push the other kids down a notch. That will make things equal." What kind of twisted fairy tale is that? And for those of you who are defending this with your whole chest, even after all I've said, saying it's our time now, let me ask you this. What kind of time is this where you win not because you're great, but because someone else was blocked from trying? Huh? You were given crumbs and told it was cake. You were handed illusion and told it was legacy. You were bought off with 350 rand grants and slogans, while the politicians you vote for fly to Dubai with your hard-earned tax money. You were told that your enemy is that colored girl who can't get into med school from El Dorado Park, that Indian guy working 3 jobs because no company will take him seriously, that Afrikaans student who got 6 A's but wasn't even shortlisted, the Asian kid who just wants to go to university. You were told they are the reason you don't have a job. They are the reason you're still struggling. It's because of them. Meanwhile, the real enemy is laughing behind a high wall in Constantia, or catching a tan on a private island, or Epstein's, or depositing another million in a Swiss account. And you're still here, still broke, still unemployed, still mad, still dancing to the tune like the dancing plague of the Middle Ages that killed everyone that danced in there. The Pied Piper doesn't love you, he uses you. And when he's done, he will vanish into his next election campaign with a new hat, a new slogan, a new secretary general, and another flute in his hand to impress you. So to the government, from these summer Sambit to you thieves, stop pretending this is justice. This is manufactured division. It's lazy policy making. It is political theater. It is optics for the masses. You are raising a generation to believe that they deserve things by default, not by effort, not by discipline, not by merit. And it is going to bite this country in the back harder than anything apartheid ever did. Trust me when I say that. I am not here to deny our past. I am here to defend our future. And you cannot burn down the present to feel better about yesterday. That is not transformation. That is nothing but just another type of trauma. So here's the call. End the dancing plague. Stop following the flute. And for once, listen to your gut. Listen to your own rhythm. Stand for a South Africa where being born a certain color does not decide your destiny. Where you win because of your mind, your grind, your vision, not your pigmentation. Because only when we all rise together, we can finally say, apartheid is truly dead. Not replaced, not reversed, not renamed, but dead. and a new South Africa is alive. So here's my final message. You know who I am. I'm the Sambit. I speak for the ones who have been silent for way too long. For the random Indian student with 7 distinctions who got rejected. For the colored grad who was told, we already hired one of your kind, so we don't need you right now. For the white kid who's never seen privilege a day in his life but still gets blamed for apartheid. For the Asian South Africans who are told they don't look South African. I'm sorry, South Africans actually look a certain way. Good people, let us fix South Africa the right way. Not through blind revenge. Not through favoritism. Not through division disguised as transformation. Let us fix it through excellence, merit, and a fierce belief in every South African's potential, no matter their color. Mic drop. This is the Sambit. Tag your friends. Comment below. Share this if you're tired of the lies. I'll see you next time.